Hi everyone, I'm back from my week away, so I thought I'd crack on with programming course. It's going to be slightly longer, this particular one, because there's a bit more to get through. But I'm pleased to report that we're now at the stage where, excuse me, we've done enough that we can actually start producing some useful scripts. I mean, up to now it's just been printing out information about orders, which is not terribly exciting. But now we're going to start doing some scripts which you might actually want to use yourself. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is amend our script so that we can delete all pending orders for the chart which we dropped this script into. So it can actually be quite useful. You suddenly decide you've had enough, or for whatever reason, the news release coming up, you want to cancel all the orders, do it in one drop. Okay, so if just going over the code at the moment, what we've got is a for loop, which, if you remember, counts through all the orders. So it goes from the last order, which you remember has an index of 1 less than the actual number of orders. So if there's 10 orders, the last index is 9. Comes all the way down to the first order, which is order 0. Now there's actually a reason why we're counting downwards rather than upwards, which I'll explain in a separate video. But for now, just bear with it. So we're checking we can select that order, and we're checking that the order is actually relevant to the chart which we dropped it in. If that is the case, then we're going to do something. Right, now what we're going to do in this case, we want to find out whether it is a pending order or not, because if you may remember, orders include not only pending orders but actually open positions. Okay, so you obviously can't cancel a actual position. You have to close that, so that's a bit different. But what we're going to do is cancel pending orders. So we need to find out whether our order is a pending order or not. And the way you do that is there's something called order type. So you say if the order type, and helpfully being prompted there, equals. Now you just need to learn what the various options are. But if you're not sure what the options are for order type, you click on it and then hit F1, and up comes all the possible options. So you see there's a buy or a sell order, and these two are actually open positions, and these 4 are the pending orders. Okay, so and there's an example of how you can use it. So that's what you need to know. So let's see if it's open position. We're getting prompted again. If it's a buy limit. Now, if you remember, we want to say if it's a buy limit or logical or is 2 vertical lines. Oops, typing. Order type equals, so it's a buy limit, or it's a buy stop, or it's a sell limit, or it's a sell stop. Okay, so if it's any one of those 4 things, we want to do something. Okay, so let's put some curly brackets in. So this is going to list what we want to do. So if that is true, we're going to do order delete. Okay, now if you're not sure what order delete does, again, F1 on the order just requires the ticket and the optional color, which means the color basically just draws where you've closed the position if you did that. All right, so we won't bother with the color. So now the order ticket is another one of these order functions which are generated by when you do the order select. Okay, so order ticket is the ticket for the selected order. Okay, so now the thing about this is it returns a true or false, a boolean. So which means it's logical, either true or false. Okay, so if the function succeeds, it returns true, otherwise false. Okay, so we just need to check that our delete has worked correctly. So if order delete equals false, okay, so if it hasn't worked, then I'm going to do a little alert. So I'll just use that alert there because we don't need that anymore. So what I'm going to say is order symbol, error deleting order ticket, and then I'm going to, ticket. And then I'm actually going to print out, let's get rid of all that, print out the order ticket, just so I know, ticket, error code, get last error. Now get last error basically returns a number, which is the error code for what went wrong. Okay. Now in later date we'll do we'll write a little function which gives you a proper description for what the error code is, what the error was, rather than just being a number, which isn't very helpful. But for now, we'll just do that, okay? Because there shouldn't normally be a problem when deleting it. So it's just checking it just in case. Right, okay, so now just go through this. So for each order, we select that order. Just check we can select it, and we also check that it is relevant to the chart we've dropped it in. We then want to see whether it's a pending order. So if it's one of those 4 types, then we're going to do something. What we're going to do is try and delete it. Okay, now it says if it didn't work, so if the return from that function is false, then I'm just going to put up a little flag saying I had problems with that, just so the user knows, and they can maybe do it by hand or look into it. Okay. Now I'm just going to show you another little bit. So this order delete equals false. Another way of writing that, because if order delete is true, you wouldn't have to write equals true. You just have to write that. Okay, and that's because if in an if statement, if there's just a thing on its own, it looks to see whether it's true or false, and if it's true, it processes it. If it's not true, it doesn't. So we want to say if this thing is false, I can actually write it like this instead, which is that exclamation mark. So if it's not, if you haven't managed to delete the order, that's how that reads. Okay, then do that. Okay, but if you prefer, you can write it double equals false instead. Okay. Now one more thing. You remember this break thing? I said the last time that once it gets to that, it jumps out. It ends this for loop. Okay, and the reason why we had that before, because we just wanted to do something for the first order, the last order in the list. Okay, for the first one, the last one that was submitted. But in this case, we want to delete all the orders, so we want to get rid of this break statement. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll go through each of them and delete them one after another. Okay, so let's check that compiles. It does indeed. Okay, back to the old charts. Here's some £yen. Let's put in a bunch of orders. Okay, so let's put in a few buy limits and some sell limits. You see, when you start adding lots of orders, it'll be quite tedious to have to delete all these by hand. Let's put a buy stop up there as well, and a sell stop down here. Okay, so we now have quite a few orders. Let's go to our script, because it'd be quite useful to delete my first script here. Okay, so drop it in, and you see it's deleted them all. There we go. The total number of orders 8, and they've all gone. So there you are. That's actually starting to be a useful script. Okay, so what we're going to do next, now we can delete orders. What I'll do next time is show you how you can delete not just all the orders in the chart you drop, but optionally delete all the orders there are entirely. We'll start using inputs for that, and then we're going to go on to setting stop loss and take profit values on orders. It's something I use all the time. I have little scripts for doing that. Yes, so generating some more useful scripts now. Okay, there you go. If you have any questions, do please ask. It's that's part of the learning process, and if you're struggling with something, someone else may well be too, and having it explained is helps everyone. So okay, I hope you find that useful, and say come up with any questions if you got any. Bye for now.